What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out, and I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. Ultra prepared tonight. Oh, man, I'll tell you. I had been going over and over something before we get started on, because, I like to start off the show on whatever's to do with the title, which is interesting in itself. But before we get to that, I want to talk about this situation with these sat phones. And it's just been something that I've had tucked back in my mind ever since, the news came out. But I wasn't going to let it take the forefront of anything because, boy, that would sure make a great distraction. So I don't want to put too much weight in it, but I think at the same time we should certainly take note of it. But I've been sitting there thinking of all the different scenarios, and I'm sure that, initially there's a whole lot of scenarios you could see why they might need those sat phones. I think I said something about this once before, but I don't think that conflict, if there's something to this, I don't think that conflict would be a good reason to give out sat phones. And the reason why I say that is because I have a feeling that the moment that we would actually be locked in conflict, an actual conflict with another major superpower, say Russia, China, there would be just absolute satellites going up like crazy. Reason being is because that's communication, that's navigation, that is a whole lot of things. Now, see, when it comes to, and I don't know all the ins and outs, they may have things that go beyond what I am aware of, and I'm sure they do. I know here in the United States of America, they do not necessarily have to have satellites to have navigation, because they have ground-based navigation systems as well. But they don't have ground-based navigation systems in Russia. We don't. I'm sure Russia does. And so I think in order to protect even themselves, it would be imperative for them to take out those GPS positioning satellites, and then while you're in Rome, take out the communication satellites. And you better bet your ass that stuff like satellite phones, stuff like that, anything to do with the military, government, stuff like that, are going to be the first ones to go poof. They'll get to ESPN pretty quickly, but the first ones are going to be anything and everything to do with the government. I don't think that they will leave a whole lot of communication-type satellites intact. Because, you have no idea which one does what. You don't. And there are so many of those damn things in the sky at this point in time. Man, I'll tell you, it is insane. It is absolutely insane. But let me get more back on my point here. I'm sitting there wargaming where it is that this fits, the sat phone thing. Because you have to understand that automatically rules out things like EMP. Right? Because unless they had those EMP protected. But what would give them the ability to communicate when none of us have it? None of us have it. Well, if the internet goes down, I'm pretty certain the phone networks go down too. I'm pretty certain at this point in time that all of our telephone communications at some point or another go through the internet or needs the internet to assist it in whether it's switching or whatever the case may be. I'm sure if you took all of that away and there was no www, I'm pretty sure your phones wouldn't do squat. Not even talk, certainly not text or MMS. No data. Nothing. You'd even be able to connect to the tower, but there just wouldn't be anything beyond that. And that's if there wasn't something, because they're switching in the tower too, so. No, you probably wouldn't be able to connect to the tower. Duh, because there would be switching in the tower. Never mind. I'm a tard. No, I don't think you could connect to the tower. If there was no internet, I don't think that you could even connect to the tower. So, anywho, possibly. And that's just, I just want to throw that out there because that's a scenario that I thought of that, that kind of fits. And then, Hexafoos had sent me an article, couple actually. Well, one's a Twitter post, the other's an article, both related to the same thing. And I wanted to show that your way. Fire Marshal Bill. I don't know if you're in here, man, but I couldn't resist. That sounded pretty funny. Talking about VR chat. It's kind of funny. My one experience with it is odd. Anyway, so I guess you guys want to see this, or kind of what's the point, right? So, Tom Fitton, and I don't know what Tom's fitting to do, but he made a post here, and that's what I'm going to talk about. It says, alert from Microsoft, and by the way, this is confirmed by Reuters and stuff, so Reuters isn't very happy with the idea that I use a pop-up blocker, and so we're reading this to you from Twitter. It says here, Microsoft has uncovered stealthy and targeted malicious activity focused on post-compromise credential access and network system discovery aimed at critical infrastructure organizations in the United States. Hey, you're there. Yeah, you never know, man. We might have to go roll up on some dude in VR. I don't know how that works, but we'll figure it out. I think you grab with the grippy thing. You grab and you hold him out, beat him in the head. Just joking about, I've only been in the VR chat thing one time, and it was just weird. I had a better experience, though, in the VR chat than when I did the Meta Horizon World thing. Yeah, that was really weird. But, actually, I want to go take some lunch money. Hey, that'll work, too. That'll be fun. Oh, man. I love flying with you, man. That is just a ball. Let's see. Where was I? It says the attack is carried out by Volt Typhoon, a state-sponsored actor based in China that typically focuses on espionage and information gathering. Microsoft assesses with moderate confidence that this Volt Typhoon campaign is pursuing development of capabilities that could disrupt critical communications infrastructure between the United States and Asia region during a future crisis. You know, like the internet going down, critical communications. Volt Typhoon has been active since mid-2021 and has targeted critical infrastructure organizations in Guam and elsewhere in the United States. In this campaign, the affected organizations span the communications, manufacturing, utility, transportation, construction, maritime, government, information technology, and education sectors. That's a few things. Observed behavior suggests that the threat actor intends to perform espionage and maintain access without being detected for as long as possible. To achieve their objective, the threat actor puts strong emphasis on stealth in this campaign, relying almost exclusively on living off-the-land techniques and hands-on keyboard activity. They issue commands via the command line to collect data, including credentials from local and network systems, okay? Put the data into an archive file to stage it for exfiltration, and then use the stolen valid credentials to maintain persistence. In addition, Volt Typhoon tries to blend into normal network activity by routing traffic through compromised small office and home office network equipment, including routers, firewalls, and VPN hardware. They have also been observed using custom versions of the open source tools to establish a command and control channel to over proxy to further stay under the radar. So, I don't know. I don't know why I felt like that kind of just verified my prior thought, my suspicions about it being possibly the internet, as to the whole sat phone thing. Again, I don't want to focus too much on that because it could just be a distraction too, but I want to put that in your ear, in the back of your head, because if we lose the www and your phone doesn't work, maybe you'll remember, hey, that crazy bastard said something. Anyway, coffee's good. The art of beer. I have something from AP News. I have no idea what the hell they're going on about. Anyway, more to the point of the title of this evening, Twitter founder takes aim at U.S. intelligence. And that's kind of like an oxymoron anyway, but this has got my interest. Again, I'm careful with this stuff, right? I've been saying all along with Elon shenanigans to keep a close eye on him. And lo and behold, he hires a CEO that's highly tied up with the WEF. So, and that's, just the latest. You know what I mean? The whole brain chip thing, yeah, I'm not hip with that either. But anyway, Twitter founder takes aim at U.S. intelligence. Former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey appeared to call out the U.S. intelligence community in a cryptic tweet on Tuesday. Splinter the CIA, NSA, and FBI into 1,000 pieces and scatter them into the winds, he wrote, accompanied by a link to a portrait of former U.S. President John F. Kennedy. Dorsey's tweet referenced a famous quote attributed to Kennedy, who supposedly vowed to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the winds. Upon learning of the agency's botched effort to overthrow Cuban leader Fidel Castro, known as the Bay of Pigs disaster, however, it is not entirely clear whether he uttered the soft or oft-cited words at all. The only source is an anonymous Kennedy administration official who supposedly shared it with a New York Times reporter 3 years after the president's assassination. My question is, and I ask oftentimes in these, failed, however they put it, attributions, does it matter? Right? If an entire civilization or society has been repeating and saying over and over and over, let me tell you something, it doesn't matter how wrong it is. Does not make, let me give you a good example. Here's one I hear from Bear a lot. And I'm not trying to pick on Bear. This is just one that I hear and it's so wrong. He who can be trusted with a little can be trusted with much. I know that there's biblical reference to that, but it's not true. You ever heard a saying that is much more true many more times than he who can be trusted with little can be trusted with much? That, everybody's got a price. That's more commonly the way things go. So there have been tons and tons of organizations and stuff like that started out as legit as it gets. But it's usually only a matter of time before you become Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. You know what I mean? So, just saying. It doesn't really matter if they said the words or not. What matters is the weight of the words. And, well, we've been hearing this for a long time, this quote that was attributed to Kennedy. Don't think it matters much. And I think it's important to point that out because they made a point of trying to discredit the saying. So, Elon Musk, Dorsey's successor at the helm of Twitter, responded to his tweet with a single exclamation point. Musk worked with a group of independent journalists to publish internal Twitter communications, proving the CIA and FBI have been exerting strong influence over content on the platform. Along with several other government entities, the two agencies were able to request the removal of individual users and the promotion or suppression of particular narratives. I didn't do it. Nonprofit who? Are you talking about Fire Marshal Bill? I'm not sure who you're talking about, and I'm not real sure what I said at the time you almost spit your coffee out. Let's see. Oh, Tammy Faye Baker. Yeah. I don't know if they went from nonprofit to profit. I have no idea. I know they needed a few more jet planes, though, because, God wasn't going to let them up in heaven without that new Learjet. It's unreal. Tithing has to do with works, not money. Has to do with works, not money. Elon Musk, Dorsey's successor at the helm of Twitter, responded to his tweet with a single exclamation point, right? Musk worked with a group of independent journalists to publish internal Twitter communications proving the CIA and FBI had been exerting strong influence over content on the platform. Along with several other government entities, the two agencies were able to request the removal of individual users and the promotion or suppression of particular narratives. while Musk has been made a show of distancing himself from the status quo, including by firing General Counsel James Baker, who formerly worked for the FBI. It is not known if the agency retains some level of access. I'm sure they do. Many Twitter users question the sincerity of Dorsey's apparent rejection of the FBI and CIA, arguing he allowed the agencies meddle in the platform while he ran it. Well, let may not be the best word used, just to be real honest. I mean, do you think he really had a choice? It's been a whole long time since the whole nail gun suicide thing, so he might become really depressed and just happen to have a nail gun set next to him, and, well, says Twitter was one of few social media platforms to resist participation in the NSA's controversial PRISM surveillance program over a decade ago, according to a leaked slide from the agency made public by NSA contractor turned whistleblower Edward Snowden in 2013. You remember him? He warned us a long time ago, and did we listen? I did. I did, but did society as a whole? Nope. PRISM gave the NSA a dedicated backdoor to the servers of big tech players like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Apple. A few of Dorsey's followers appeared to interpret the tweet as an endorsement of Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is running on a platform that includes reining in intelligence agencies. And it's possible. I thought of that myself when I read about this. I thought, well, it could be just reference for RFK Jr. Either way, I'm good with it. Either way, I'm good with it. Yeah. I am pretty firm in the mindset that nothing's going to happen to these people. I mean, they'll just leave. You know what I mean? All these individuals that are doing all this stuff. And I'm talking about the ones in charge, the ones that's giving the orders. They'll leave. They'll just go stay at their place in Norway or wherever the hell. Not like us. They can set the country on fire and go somewhere it's not burning. Anyway, I don't know that it would all go to that, but, you know, it's just kind of crazy. Let me look up, because I don't look up enough. Oh, yeah, I hear you there on the houses and the cars and jets and stuff. Yeah, that gets me. That gets me. You know, and that was just one. That was just one of them. Or you know what I mean. It was two people, but still. There's so many different televangelists, and it frustrates me, you know? Don't let people bullshit you about tithing. It's about works, not money. Works. Footage surfaces of UFO over U.S. military base. U.S. podcast hosts Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp have obtained video clips and a still image purporting to show a massive unidentified flying object that hovered over a California military base in April 2021. I damn well hope they had their COVID masks on. Before quickly disappearing from view. Of the 50 Marines who reportedly witnessed the incident. So yeah, they probably didn't have their masks on, and they were worried that the Marines were gonna kick some ass. No, seriously, I actually hadn't heard of this. That says the object was black and triangular and had 5 red lights along its edges, according to Tuesday's episode of the Weaponized podcast. Okay, well, that's interesting. I'm sure that you probably don't know this. Maybe. There might be. I know Jen does, but there might be one of you out there that might know this. But there was actually a very, very well-reported and documented UFO sighting that started right here in Highland. And when I say well-documented, I mean by multiple law enforcement agencies. So it was first spotted by a gentleman named Melvin Knoll. And he was checking on he had a little putt-putt golf course, and I don't know if he ever got the go-karts in or not, but and he had some arcade games inside, stuff like that. And he was just checking on his business. He also drove a truck. He was coming in off the road from the truck, and was just stopping by, check on the business, and he got out of his truck, and that's when he saw it. And so he contacted Highland Police Department and reported it. Highland contacted other police departments, and I know Lebanon saw it. I think Dupo saw it. Multiple police departments saw it. It was well documented. My point of bringing this up is because, if I'm not mistaken, the report of that UFO is very similar to the appearance of this one, and that's why I bring that up. You can go look that up. I'm not whack, Highland, Illinois. Melvern, not Melvin, Melvern Knoll, Knoll. I do believe it's 2 L's, but Melvern Knoll, and you can look him up. He's passed away. But you can certainly look him up. He's been on multiple different documentaries. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Dr. Doom issues global market crash warning. The U.S. government's failure to agree on lifting the debt ceiling is likely to hit markets and damage confidence in the dollar over the longer term, renowned economist and New York University professor Noya Rubini has warned. Pardon me. That's pretty much, if Hexapoose, if you're unaware of the sighting that I'm talking about, the one that originated here, please look it up. Please look it up. And there is also a poem. Hang on. Ah. What is this? Oh, hang on.
When the revenue.
Nah, what a song. I don't want to get attacked for playing music. Anyway, there's something I can't remember. I'll have to find it. But anyway, yeah. You saw that yesterday. I was reading the chat, if you're wondering why I'm being quiet. Oh, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, I think it's wild, the different sightings. Anyway, on this economy thing, like I say every single time, and I'll stand behind it, it will go down when they want it to go down. Not a day before, not a day after. When they're ready to bring that system down, they'll bring it down. I don't think that no amount of paying attention, right, to the information that they let us have, I don't think no amount of paying attention is going to really tell us before the big things hit. And I mean, like, before they actually happen. Like, I don't know, losing reserve currency status, stuff like that. Because we are quickly, very quickly headed that direction. I was looking, reading the chat. It's all unreal. It's all unreal. And you know, with the debt ceiling, for one, I think they're going to raise that. I don't think they're going to default. But like I've said, even if they do, there are certain things that are protected. And if they do not take care of those obligations, they're in the government anyway. We've got a lot more bigger problems than just a debt default, okay? Because there are laws, there are safeguards in place. And there are some things like Social Security and stuff like that, they have to pay out. They have to. Look, they can find billions of dollars for Ukraine. Believe me, they'll do it. Who knows how it all works and all that. Like I say, it will go down when they say it's time to go down. And that's it. It's not going to be by anything that we can watch. And I mean, we can look at it, we can see what's going on, and we know that everything's kind of really messed up. But that's about as far as we can get. I don't think we'll have access to enough information to, like, if we were invested and stuff like that. Yeah, people aren't going to know how, know to get out. I really don't think. As far as Leo, what you're saying, yeah, that is wild sounding. That is wild sounding. I kind of actually, I wish that I didn't live in town. Because I like watching the sky, and it's kind of hard to do in town. It kind of sucks. But I used to do that all the time. I grew up just outside of town, and done a lot of interesting things over the years. That was one of I love doing that. Just looking up at the sky, watching the stars, the planes, all that stuff. Do it for hours. Let's see. Los Angeles, and you probably heard this one. Los Angeles approves robot police dogs. Los Angeles City Council has authorized the use of a robotic dog device by the local police department, despite protests from residents and some dissenting council members. New York previously unveiled similar tech and faced major public backlash. City lawmakers voted 8-4 on Tuesday to approve a donation of a quadruped, I think I got close there, unmanned ground vehicle, a frickin' robot dog, okay, to the LAPD from the non-profit Los Angeles Police Foundation, because they would never profit off of something like that, which supplied the $277,000 robot to the force free of charge. You know, that could have bought a whole lot more shovels to scoop that crap up off the sidewalks. I know that's like San Diego or whatever. Just work with me here. Designed and manufactured by Boston Dynamics, a stand-up company, the robotic dog is capable of navigating terrain and buildings autonomously, using what does it have to have in order to operate autonomously? Bueller? It has to have AI. So, while the news has you all wrapped up about this battle for AI, talking ChatGPT and all this, please understand that they've been more than dabbling in AI for a very long time. Anyway, they can be equipped with a wide range of surveillance gear, sensors, and other quote-unquote payloads. I like how they put that now, because remember before they said that they would never, ever put anything lethal on them. You remember that? I remember that. I knew it was a lie when they said it. Now, they're not saying that. They say payloads. For police, it's generally intended for use in dangerous situations that could put officers at risk, acting as an extra set of eyes and ears for the department. However, the new addition to the LAPD faced sharp criticism from residents, with several citizens slamming the council's decision during public comments on Tuesday. One local said, "I don't want to arm artificial intelligence," while another declared that the use of the robot would eventually lead to robot cops, asking, "Didn't you guys see the movie I, Robot or Terminator?" Fair question. Yet another citizen said the city council's public comment period was clearly performative, accusing local lawmakers of ignoring the wishes of their constituents. After listening to and that's, by the way, what I say, folks, they're going to do what they want to do. They don't care what you want. They're going to do what they're going to do. And if they're given the power from their higher-ups to do it, they're going to take it. After listening to overwhelming public comments, you vote the opposite way. New York City and San Francisco have already rejected these robot dogs. The LAPD does not need military weapons, they said. Let's see. New York's decision in 2020 to employ the robotic dog, which the NYPD dubbed DigiDog, proved equally controversial, with the city cutting short its first contract to lease the device after New Yorkers decried the tech as Orwellian. However, officials later reversed course and returned the dog to the force last month, with Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell stating it would be used in a way that is transparent, consistent, and always done in close collaboration with the people we serve. Haven't we heard stuff like that before? San Francisco even considered allowing its police department to use robots for deadly force in the case of emergencies, but later voted down that policy following public outcry. LA Councilman Hugo Soto Martinez was among the lawmakers to vote against the decision, arguing this item is being painted as merely an acceptance of a donation, but it really represents an expansion of the current boundaries around policing and surveillance. City officials claim the robot will be primarily used by the LAPD SWAT team and will enhance officer safety during high-risk incidents, adding that it would fill a critical gap for the department given the device's unique features. You know, like being able to remotely blow somebody's face off. That's a unique feature. No, the real unique part about it is the fact that they could hunt that person down. Crazy. And folks, I just want to throw this in here so we're all tracking. Remember when I kept screaming and screaming and screaming when everybody was talking about the laser beam death ray 5G and all the other nonsense that was claimed that was going to happen when they turned on the 5G radios, and I kept saying, hey, G means like generation. It's just a different like packet, a different compression that requires a different radio. That's it. Our concern our concern with the 5G is the fact that they can have data communications with all of this stuff on a level in which they could put autonomy into play. They could literally have robot cops. They could have swarms of these robot dogs. And 5G is fast enough to carry that communication. I was warning about that way back because I knew what they were after. I knew what they were doing. A Skynet's real, yo. It's just not called Skynet yet. Who knows? But it's a real thing. You give them the capability and they're damn well gonna take it. It's going to be crazy. Oh yeah, I mean, there's a few ways you could disable Spot. Just don't break the law, okay? Just don't do anything to break the law. Like, let me give you a good example, because I don't want you to break the law. Don't accidentally build a spark gap transmitter. Spark gap transmitter. Don't accidentally build one of those, because you could interfere with radio frequencies, which is illegal. And you wouldn't want to do that. I mean, people trying to listen to the radio, watch over-the-air TV, stuff like that. You know, you wouldn't want to scramble anybody's router or nothing like that. That's against the FCC rules. So do not ever look up spark gap transmitter and how to make one or how to tune it. You know, just because. And paintballs. Paintballs are an amazing tool. Just saying. I mean, they're multi-purpose. Anywho, I wonder how one of those little robot pricks would handle a flashbang. Seriously. It'd probably piss it off. I know the truth. It'd probably piss it off a good one, but it might be funny. I'm not advising that either. Just like, do not look up spark gap transmitter. Don't throw a flashbang grenade at the dog and piss it off. But if you do anyway, make damn sure you YouTube it. Just saying. Kissinger behind 3 million civilian deaths, says The Intercept. I read this and I'm like, holy hell, who's gonna die? Says here, Henry Kissinger, the foreign policy eminence, Grise, I get Grise, I've never seen that one, who has advised half a dozen U.S. presidents, has caused the deaths of over 3 million people, according to an Intercept report published Tuesday to mark the Realpolitik strategist's 100th birthday. 100th birthday. Wonder how many vials of children's blood he's up to lately. I didn't say that. What? Damn. While critics of the Nixon-era Secretary of State and National Security Advisor often describe him as a war criminal for his pivotal role in numerous U.S.-backed genocides and coups, the report argued Kissinger's body count has widely underestimated, particularly regarding the secretive, highly illegal expansion of the Vietnam War into Cambodia in the 1970s. Between the genocides he sponsored in East, I don't know if it's Timor or Timor, and Bangladesh, continent-wide terrorism, coups and death squads in Latin America known as Operation Condor, the fomenting of civil wars in southern Africa, and the carpet bombing of Cambodia and Laos under the guise of chasing the Vietnamese, Kissinger is believed to be responsible for over 3 million civilian deaths, more if one counts the casualties that have resulted from advice he gave the private sector. Kissinger has only acknowledged that his actions caused the deaths of 50,000 Cambodians and blames the Vietnamese, the supposed targets of the U.S. bombing campaign, the coordinates of which were logged incorrectly so as to be recorded as legal strikes within Vietnam. Intercept reporter Nick Truce argues the number is closer to 150,000, pointing to numerous documented examples of egregious and deliberate undercounting of civilian casualties. The figure represents over 6 times more civilians than the U.S. has killed in airstrikes since 9/11. Oh, man. Let's see. Transcripts from the Intercept's exclusive... Why would I block you? You're fine. Let's see. Transcripts from the Intercept's exclusive archive of declassified U.S. military documents from a secret Pentagon War Crimes Task Force reveal it was Kissinger's decision to relay then-President Richard Nixon's often drunk, belligerent trash talk about Cambodia into coherent instructions to the Pentagon to begin a massive bombing campaign in the country in 1970. Let's see. Kissinger's now infamous directive to shoot anything that flies on anything that moves exploded the secret war, tripling the number of bombings by the end of the year. He allegedly approved all 3,875 individual bombings of the war, and the bombers dropped over 257,000 tons of explosives on Cambodia in 1973 alone. I was 1 year old. Intercept's archive was also revealed numerous brutal ground raids on Cambodian villages that have since been all but memory hold. Truce confirmed via interviews with survivors that the raids were far deadlier than reported. While the airstrikes were frequently hushed up as pilot errors that was nevertheless repeated thousands of times, the U.S. Army, in an internal investigation, actually blamed its press corps when ground troops were caught looting in a village they had just raided. Kissinger's carpet bombing of Cambodia paved the way for Khmer Rouge, the genocidal dictatorship that killed 2 million Cambodians, 20% of the country's population, which he privately and approvingly referred to as murderous thugs while helping them secure regional allies. Kissinger has never been prosecuted or even officially charged with war crimes, nor has the U.S. military made any systemic efforts to hold accountable the troops who actually did the killing. Which you'll never see that anyway. You know, just like you'll never see Kissinger have to answer to it. It just won't happen. Hang on. Had a headline. Oh, no, it's not. Op-ed. Never mind. Anyway, that was it. That was the last tab I have open. Still got the headlines, though. Oh, man. But I need coffee. Yum, yum. It wasn't really super crazy today with the news. I mean, you pretty much kind of get the gist of stuff. So, let's see. UN concerned over Ukrainian attack on Belgorod. Cover that. Russian lawmakers call for ban on trucks from EU state. Lukashenko laughs off illness rumors. Germany facing zero growth, says survey. Japanese Prime Minister weighs in on NATO membership. A fair multipolar world will be achieved, says Putin. Yeah, that's probably not going to look very well for the United States. I'm just saying. The United States has been in charge of the economy for so long. And, well, if you hadn't been able to tell, they've abused the hell out of that position. And it's about time to pay that piper. And unfortunately, we're the piperees that have to pay. Let's see. Lost documents leave world's largest nuclear power plant in limbo. Ukraine to hike tariffs on Russian oil transit to EU. Let's see. Ukraine to hike tariffs. Major European ports report losses due to Russia sanctions. Wow. Let's see. Russia opposes freezing Ukraine conflict, says Kremlin. Chinese purchases of Russian aluminum shoot up by 200%, says Customs. Probably important to note. Wagner chief reveals losses in fight for key Donbass city. And there's no need to cover that because nobody's going to be honest on that. Most Russia-China trade no longer involves dollar, says Ms. Huston. EU top diplomat comments on Ukraine ammo target. Ukraine top general gravely wounded in Russian strike, says RIA. Russian police begin work in Bakhmut. I don't know how they say it that way, so. Zelensky's penthouse is seized in Crimea. I'm surprised it took them this long, to be honest, if it was in Crimea. iPhone prices tumbling in Russia. Russian vessel attacked by Ukrainian sea drones off Bosporus, says MOD. Russia's top spy tells US and UK to go to hell. Well, I'd pretty much say the same thing to our government. Go to hell. We want to kill Putin, Ukrainian deputy intelligence chief says. I'm sure you want to, but can you? That's the question. U.S. zoo apologizes to New Zealand. Shortest girl in Russia graduates from school. Eurasian Economic Union strengthening despite Western pressure, says Putin. NATO, by the way, that story, where's it at? Shortest girl in Russia graduates from school. Do you notice they avoid putting the words high school in there? I don't know. Maybe they were trying not to be offensive. But I noticed they didn't say high school. I couldn't resist. Sorry. I know, I'm a dick. Let's see. NATO countries should back uprising in Belarus, says retired general. Let's see. Hitler Hammer Band founder spotted during Ukrainian raid in Russia. U.S. Senator condemns Target over partnership with Satanists. Let's see. Edwardsville High School administrator charged with sexually assaulting a student. 17-year-old. Like Edwardsville, if you remember where that tornado hit that killed those Amazon employees, that's Edwardsville. So it's like 20 minutes or so drive from here. Not that that's a good thing. Trump's top Republican rival formally enters 2024 race. Anti-Russia resolution on Ukraine gets limited support at WHO. U.S. public sours on anti-Russia sanctions. Let's see. U.S. EU to sanction opposition in applicant state, says media. I don't know what my issue is. Twitter founder takes... Oh, covered that. U.S. officials believe Ukrainians attack Kremlin, says New York Times. Black Lives Matter finances hit hard times. I heard there was something with that, but I don't know the detail. And lastly, Crimea referendum result was legitimate, says Le Pen. I thought it was as well, so I don't know. I mean, I've got this whole thing that I think if a group of people vote for something that, well, you know, as long as that thing doesn't violate rights that are inalienable, then I would say go with the vote. But, you know, that being all democratic and stuff, they're not interested in that. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. I can't think of anything else to add. One more night and then we're off for a few days, thank goodness. So, anyway, I am going to get out of here. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again. I appreciate you coming. Hope to see you tomorrow. And as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.